Hi everybody, welcome back to 100% Mags. Hope you're all well. So this is going to be my reaction to my 1920 Premier League predictions video, which I made on the 6th of August of last year, just before the Premier League season started up. And we're going to go from 20th all the way up to 1st and see how well I predicted the Premier League finishing this season. So moving on to 20th place, and I went with Sheffield United in 20th place. Of course, they ended up finishing in 9th place, so that is a plus 12 to where I thought they would finish. Moving on to 19th place, I got this one a little bit closer. As I said, Norwich to finish in 19th place. Of course, them ending up going down in 20th place, so I was -1 on that. Moving on to Brighton. And I said 18th place for Brighton, with them finishing, of course, in 15th place. So it was a +4 to where I said that they would finish. Moving on to 17th, and that goes Crystal Palace here. And of course, they ended up finishing in 14th place, so +4 to where I said they would finish. Moving on to 16th place, and I went with Southampton here. And they, of course, ended up finishing in 11th place, so that is +6 to where I said they would finish. Moving on to 15th, and I goes with Watford on this one, and of course they ended up finishing in 19th place, -5 on where I said they would finish, so they ended up going down, of course, in this season along with Norwich. Moving on to 14th place, and I went with Bournemouth here. Of course, they ended up going down as well in 18th place, -5 from where I says that they would finish. And then moving on to 13th, we've got Burnley. And of course, they ended up finishing in a +4, finishing 10th place in the Premier League. Another good season for Sean Dyche and his Burnley side in the Premier League. Moving on to 12th, and I went with West Ham here. Of course, they finished in 16th place, so that is a -5 to where I said that they would finish. Moving on to 11th, and I went with Aston Villa here, just judging on how they spent their money in the transfer window. I thought they would have done a lot better than what they did do, but unfortunately they finished in 17th place, so that's a -7 to where I said that they would finish. Moving on to 10th place, and I went with Wolves here. Of course, they ended up finishing in 7th place, so that's a +4 to where I said that they would finish. And another good season for Nuno and his boys in the Premier League. Second season in, another top 10 finish. Moving on to 9th place, and this is where I said our team, Newcastle United, would be 9th in the Premier League come the end of the season. That wasn't the case though, as we ended up finishing in the same position as we did last season in 13th place, -5 down from where I said that we would finish in 9th. Moving on to 8th place, and we've got Everton. I just thought Everton would have finished a lot higher, you know, being that they spent quite well in the window. But that wasn't the case, to be honest, again. With them finishing in 12th place, -5 down from where I said that they would finish. Moving on to 7th, and I said Leicester to finish in 7th place. Of course, they ended up finishing 5th, so it was a +2 to where I said that they would finish. And another good season as well for Leicester in the Premier League. And Brendan Rodgers as well, firing on all cylinders with his Leicester boys. Moving on to 6th place, and we've got Man United in its 6th. And I said that that's where they would finish, but unfortunately they did finish 3 places above that in 3rd, coming 3rd place in the Premier League this season, which, to be honest, I feel is somewhat unjust, being the way Man United played in the season. You know, they just didn't look like they deserved to finish in a 3rd place position, you know. And they should have probably finished a lot lower than that. I think Leicester, to be honest, should have been finishing in the 3rd, but at the end of the day, that's football, and it's never how you predict it. Moving on to 5th place, and I said Chelsea to finish in 5th place. I was 1 place off as they ended up finishing in 4th. A great season for Frank Lampard, as I predicted at the beginning of the season. I did say that Frank Lampard would have a great season with Chelsea, and I was proven right. At the end of the day, it is Frank Lampard. He proved himself down in the Championship for Derby County, and he has now again proved himself in the Premier League at the top stage that you can be at in English football, and he's proven himself to be a very good manager at this level, and proves that he will be able to do something down the lane for Chelsea moving forward. So they finished in 4th place, and I predicted 5th place +1 up from where I said they would finish. Moving on to 4th place, and this is where I predicted Arsenal to finish. Unfortunately, they didn't have a great season, Arsenal, and they ended up finishing -4 places down in 8th. And that is probably down to the fact that their players didn't seem to quite get going. And David Luiz was really, really poor in centre back this season for Arsenal. He was letting in quite a few easy chances, letting players in around the back too easy as well. And I think if you're an Arsenal fan, you've got to be looking at that and thinking, we should have done a lot better there. Let us know your thoughts, of course, down in the comments below. If any of the fans, if any of your fans are watching, from any of the clubs that I have mentioned so far, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on where your team finished in the Premier League this season. But moving on to 3rd, this is where I kind of made a reasonably bad mistake, and I put Liverpool in a 3rd. Of course, they ended up going on to win the Premier League, finishing 1st, 2 places above where I said they would finish. But, at the end of the day, Liverpool were a team, that just didn't look like they were going to be winning the Premier League this season, especially when you're predicting it, on the 6th of August of last year. They just didn't look like a team, that had the quality in depth of players to be able to push for a Premier League title. And I think, not taking it away from Liverpool, of course, because they've done really well this season, but I think that they've gotten lucky at a few times, throughout the season. They've gotten a couple of lucky 1-0s and 2-0s here and there, and picked up wins when other teams were losing, like Man City, and were losing their games. Liverpool picked up a couple of 1-0s or 2-0 wins here and there. And at the end of the day, that's, something that, again, is football. It's unpredictable. You can't predict it 100% at the end of the day. And I predicted Liverpool to finish 3rd. They ended up winning the league. So that's how it goes. +2 places above where I said they were going to finish. Moving on to 2nd place. Now, I said Spurs to finish here. I thought Spurs were going to have a really good season. But unfortunately, they ended up sacking Pochettino, and then they ended up bringing in Jose Mourinho. It took Jose Mourinho a little while to get the team firing on all cylinders, but then when he did, they ended up finishing in a 6th place position in the Premier League. Quite a low position for a team like Spurs. I would have thought that they would have finished a bit higher, but obviously with the fact that Pochettino ended up going from the club, and then of course Jose Mourinho coming in, having to get the players gelling again under a new manager. That's a lot of stuff that is going, against you having a good season. Then of course Harry Kane as well being out injured didn't help Spurs on that matter neither. Any Spurs fans watching, let us know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I did have Jordan Pomeroy on the channel as well, who is a Spurs fan. I'm sure he'll probably be watching this video. Go check out his channel, East Terrace Football, Jordan Pomeroy on YouTube. He's a great YouTuber. He came on for the match preview of the Spurs game at St James's Park. But I think he himself will be thinking Spurs didn't do good this season, but at the end of the day, like I say, there was a lot of conflicting areas where it just didn't work out for them. Moving on to first place, and I said Man City in it first. I thought Man City were going to come out of this one, with the Premier League title yet again, because you know what Pep Guardiola's like. He's a tactical genius. He knows how to work his team, and they just got unlucky in the season quite a bit. They had a few chances here and there where they should have probably had the goals given to them. VAR, writ off quite a few goals that should have probably been given. But then they did have a few decisions by VAR, where they were correct decisions. The goals should have been disallowed, and rightly so they were. So I said for them to finish in first. Of course, they ended up finishing second behind Liverpool. So that's been my Premier League reaction video to the 1920 predictions video that I made on the 6th of August of last year. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you liked the video, hit that thumbs up. Also subscribe, as I'm trying to get to at least 400 subscribers by the end of this month. We're currently sitting at 381. So if we can get to that 400, then we can push on from there. Until next time, I'll see you all there. Watch out for the other videos coming up on the channel as well. Remember to hit the bell so you never miss a video. Turn on all notifications, all that stuff. And I'll see you all next time. However, lads.